Okie doke. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Happy to see you. So we are at week 6 of Countdown. So that means that we're looking at the Sifra of Yesod today. And I have seen Yesod described in a variety of ways, so I'm going to lay out a whole bunch of things and we'll see what sticks, okay? I feel as though I'm throwing spaghetti on the wall. Yesod is most traditionally described as bonding or foundation. And as I understand it, bonding really relates to the centrality of relationships. And that's the foundation of all life. So I think that that's the connection between the bonding and foundation, although I'm not certain of that at all. Bonding encompasses all the other sifrot, because for bonding to happen, you need loving kindness and discipline and compassion and endurance and humility. Those are all important qualities in relationship. Yesod also is mediating between the two sifrot that we most recently discussed, Netzach, which is endurance and kind of energetic response, and Hod, which is humility. So in that mediation between those two, we're looking at some ethical considerations, and the way that I am being in the world and trying to be energetic. Is that ethical? Is that righteous? Am I doing the right thing? So in the IJS framework, Institute for Jewish Spirituality, they pair the midah of tzedek, righteousness, with the sifra of Yesod. So they're putting the emphasis on the ethical aspects of Yesod. So I want to just review briefly the tree of life, which these sifrot are relating to. We have the tree with the sifrot superimposed on the human form. So the right shoulder is chesed, loving kindness, and the left shoulder is gevura, which we're looking at as justice or discipline. And then in the heart space, you've got tiferet, which is translated as beauty, but we kind of looked at it as compassion. And that's the mediation between these two at the heart space that creates that triangle. Then we had Netzach at the right hip, the endurance, and Hod, humility, at the left hip. And those get mediated in the pelvic area by Yesod. So Yesod is also really connected to sexual energy. So it's pretty complicated. And sexual energy is about creativity. The sexual energy is required in order to create life, back to bonding, right? And the sexual energy is also looked at as general creativity, creative thought, creative action in the world. So creative problem solving, if you will. So there's a lot here. So one of the ways that I think that we can bring it all together is something that I read in a book called The Kabbalah Decoder. They refer to Joseph as a really terrific representation of Yesod. So we're going to pick up the Joseph story. He's in Potiphar's house, and he's being seduced by Potiphar's wife, and he resists this seduction. And the other thing at this point in Joseph's life that happens is that he does some really incredible creative problem solving, and Egypt is able to withstand the famine. So he showed sexual restraint. So the rabbis called him a tzaddik because he was so righteous. And he was a creative problem solver. So we have that creativity piece in there. So I just thought that that was a really nice way to kind of synthesize all of these aspects of Yesod. So the other thing that the other piece that I want to share with you is there's an old book that I just think is so fascinating. It's by Carolyn Meese, and the name of the book is Anatomy of the Spirit. And in this book, she looks at the chakra system, which is Eastern, and the 7 chakras, and the Sifrot, the Kabbalistic system, and the Christian sacraments, and looks at how they are all totally interconnected and relate to one another. So here's what she has to say, just one short little excerpt about Yesod. The archetypal energies of the Sifra of Yesod and the sacrament of communion and the physical energy of the 2nd chakra all symbolize that relationships are essentially spiritual messengers. They bring into our lives, and we into theirs, revelation of own strengths and weaknesses. So I thought that was really interesting, particularly when thinking about Joseph and his encounter with Mrs. Potiphar. You know, what did Joseph learn about himself? Oh, I can withstand this temptation. So I just think that was, I found that fascinating. So there's a lot of...
Sorry, Fran, can I ask you something?
Certainly.
Your reception got a little fuzzy, and when you said relationships are messengers, can you repeat whatever you said?
Certainly, I'm happy to, and I'm sorry that I'll try to sit a little closer to the microphone. So this is Carolyn Meese, and she's saying the archetypal energies of the Sifra of Yesod and the sacrament of communion and the physical energy of the 2nd chakra all symbolize that relationships are essentially spiritual messengers. They bring into our lives, and we into theirs, revelations about our own strengths and weaknesses. It's just such an interesting way, to me, of how to look at relationships and, what am I going to learn from this person and this relationship? What do I learn about myself? What am I offering to this other person? And those are just interesting little questions. So I think that there's a lot of food for thought with Yesod. There's bonding, and there's the foundation, and there's ethical behavior. So I think that for our sit today, it would be wise for us to try to focus on foundation. You, of course, as individuals, may choose something else.
Sorry.
It's okay, you can mute yourself. So my suggestion is that we really do spend our time in meditation today focusing on foundation. So I'd like to suggest that we start by really creating a strong foundation. So if you're sitting in a chair, or if you're sitting on a cushion, it doesn't matter. Squiggle around a little bit on your sits bones. Just roll around and find that place on your sits bones where you feel most secure, where you feel comfortable and really supported. So that's the base of your foundation. If you're sitting on the floor, I'd like you to have your feet flat on the floor, about hip width apart, and really kind of push your feet into the floor. If you're on a cushion, whatever part of your legs are on the floor, do the same. Just really ground them. So we're creating a strong foundation. And now envision your spine rising from this very strong foundation. And in this posture, you can really sink, and we'll spend some time feeling our breath, and then we'll have some silence. So now that you have this good, strong foundation, I encourage you to breathe fully into your lungs, holding that breath for a moment, and then exhaling fully. And as you do so, release tension that you're holding. And let's do this nice cleansing breath 3 times at your own pace. And I encourage you to bring your attention to your physical contact with the chair or the cushion or the floor. So as we slowly and gently come back into this room, I'd like to offer a couple of blessings. May we all honor our strong foundations, tap into our creative impulses, and remember to continue nourishing our relationships. And I have something I'd like to share with you, a reading from John O'Donohue from his book, To Bless This Space Between Us. For friendship. May you be blessed with good friends and learn to be a good friend to yourself, journeying to that place in your soul where there is love, warmth, and feeling. May this change you. May it transfigure what is negative, distant, or cold within your heart. May you be brought into real passion, kindness, and belonging. May you treasure your friends. May you be good to them, be there for them, and receive all the challenges, truth, and light you need. May you never be isolated, but know the embrace of your Anamakara. And Anamakara, for those of you who might not be familiar with the term, I wasn't, I needed to look it up, is Celtic for soul friend. So that last line again, may you never be isolated, but know the embrace of your Anamakara. So with that, I will turn off the recording